Hi, and welcome to today's video. We're going to talk about how to use AI generated art for book covers. You might be thinking, well, I don't have any AI generated art, but it's a lot simpler to create than you think. And there's a lot of available tools out there that on the internet today. You might have heard of some, Midjourney, Dall-E, but if you're thinking, well, I'm not really sure how to use them, so I don't know if I want to invest in that, there's actually a really straightforward way to kind of get into doing AI generated art with a tool by Microsoft that's actually called Image Creator. And so Microsoft invested in Dall-E, and that is why they have made part of the tool available for free to anybody who'd like to use it. And so it's really a great way to experiment with what you might be in your head and get it out into the creative picture that then you can craft to become your book cover. So we're going to go through real quick, what does that look like? So when you first go to Image Creator, you'll notice that there's a text prompt. This is really great for any author trying to create their own graphic art because now you can just write what you want to see eventually into your book cover. So when you're getting started, you're going to want to describe something like a determined woman. Maybe she's going to be a warrior woman in a forest fighting a lion. And so the important thing that you want to articulate is what's the emotion, what's the subject, where's the location when you're working through this. And then you hit create. And it's as simple as that. And then what's going to happen is it's going to step through the processing. Now on Image Creator, I just want to point out here in this corner, there's this number. It's going to count down from 15 every time you hit create. That is perfectly okay. And when it gets gets all the way down to 0, what that just means is that you're no longer going to get any fast run times for that day. It will reset back to 15 the next day. You can keep creating things. It's just going to take a little bit longer, which is not a big deal. So it always presents with 4 images that you have, and you can bring these up. You can look at them in more detail. And so this is a really good one to start with. And the reason why I say that is because most of her body is within the center frame. And this is the important thing when creating AI art. You'll notice this is a really square image. So when you are working on a book cover, here's an example. Usually your templates, since you have to do the front, back, and spine covers, are rectangular in size. And so you're gonna have to do one of 2 things. One, if there's a whole image in this, you'll end up cutting part of it off or elongating part of it in order to fit it onto the book cover. Or you can take it into a second tool that we'll talk about here in a moment in order to do that. So there's also other really great examples. And I'm going to bring up, so in this case, most of the figure is in there, but oftentimes what happens, like in this case, there's missing part of the image, and that's always the image that you fall in love with. So once you pick the image that you really like, you can go in, you can download it. You can, if you decide that these quite aren't for you and you're looking for something where maybe you were hoping for the woman to have with red hair in a forest fighting a lion with wings. So you can continue to go through and iterate on this design until you get the type of character that you're looking for that really embodies the book cover that you're excited about, which is a really great thing about AI generated art. And you'll notice now the styles have changed a little bit. So that is one thing that you can do. You can articulate whether or not it's a graphic art style. You want it to be a realistic woman that's doing this. Those are now the things that you can start to shape about the text prompt to get the kind of image that you want. And it'll keep the saved versions that you have. One important feature to remember about this is you can go, when you open up the image, save it if you like it in particular. And the reason why that is so important is because if you don't save it to your collection, eventually it will erase those in history. So some really great options here, depending upon the type of book cover that you're looking for. So in this case, this is a really cool image, but if I wanted to expand either on the lion or on her in particular, then this is where we download the image and they'll be saved in my folder. And I'm going to go over into Dall-E 2, not 3, and that's an important distinction. So Dall-E 3 is the brand new version of Dall-E 2, which is another AI art generation. But Dall-E 3 operates on a subscription service, that's a monthly service. And if you're not in a high volume use, that may not really be good for you. In Dall-E 2, you can purchase credits, which is basically the number of times that you can run something on their processor. And which makes it a much more affordable option if you have a lot of one-off periodic modifications that you might want to make. Dall-E 2 is available in a lab setting, so you can just use that feature of it. And it has something called frame generation, which is what we're going to use in order to expand the image. So we're going to go in, we're going to upload the image, and then you'll notice that it says, well, do you want to crop? No, we're going to skip cropping so you can see the whole image in here in particular. So first you have to place it here, hit accept, and another text prompt will show up in Dall-E 2. And the reason, much like with the image creator software, you can write something in, but first we need space in the photo. So there's a few buttons down here at the bottom: pan, eraser, add generation frame, or upload an image. So in this case, because we want to add on to either her feet and dress or the lion in particular, you can go to add frame generation, and it adds in this box with all this this checkering. And what this is you want to overlap it a little bit with the existing image so that the AI will use the type of background, the type of style that currently exists, and it will try to map in and match that style. So in this case, I go up into the text prompt and I say I want to add wing to lion and surrounding forest. So I'm going to generate that. And we'll see what it comes up with. And it has a tendency to provide a few options to you as part of the generation. And then you can kind of pick which one sort of suits the look that you were going for to fill in that space. And so this is going to take a few moments. And what you'll notice is there's 4 little blocks down here at the bottom. So this is the first option, which actually looks pretty good. There's this second option where now there's some interesting butterflies. I don't know if the butterflies really go with the style around it. There's this other wing style. It kind of has more of a hawk look, I think, forward than backward like this other one. And then you have this last option, which it's behind a tree. So that would be a little unusual. And there are odd things that sometimes can occur in an AI generated image, like 6 fingers is a common example, or something weird where the placement of an object is either on or on top of an object it should not. And so it's important to just take a look and figure out, well, what does that really mean? And does that really work for the image that I'm trying to create? So if you pick one that you love, now you can hit accept. And so now you have this new combined image. So there's other things that you can do. So now I've got a rectangular cover, which is helpful. And I can go up here and I can re-download the image and it'll give me the entire image now, which is very exciting. And so now what I've done is created the start of the image that I need for my book cover. And you can use this to add appendages onto characters that may have been accidentally not fully formed as part of your original AI generation. But the really nice thing is that you can basically use Image Creator for free until you get the base image that is very exciting for you, and then use a select few runs on the Dall-E 2 software in order to create and finish out that image in a way that is perfect for your book cover. So we're going to download this real quick and then upload it onto this so you can kind of get a feel for what that looks like. So once I got the image uploaded, and we're using Canva in this particular case, I've also overlaid the template that you can get from KDP or Barnes & Noble Press or Ingram Sparks in order to see what the background looks like. I can pull the image over, fit it to that space, and now I have a much broader image. But remember, the front of your book cover will be on the right-hand side. So in this case, maybe I would want to flip it around so that I can then start working off of this in order to put the spine and the front and back. So we're now well on our way to be able creating a book cover. So that is the completion of today's video. If you found this video to be helpful, please go ahead and click that like button. And thank you for listening to this video from the Untamed page, providing helpful tips and tricks to save you time and money for the indie author.